Thank you very much. Please get seated.
I think that's a reflection of how long overdue this award is, Niki. Let's get the whole teammate thing out of the way first of all. You're receiving the award from John Watson eventually. How supportive a teammate was he down the years at Brabham and McLaren?
What can you say? I mean, a man who's won all these world championships came to Brabham. I mean, he brought the team sponsor, persuaded Bernie that whatever's on a bit of paper doesn't matter if you're number one or number two, it's how you work with the people you work with. And Niki was just outstanding.
Is that the way you remember it, Niki?
No. I'm really upset about you know that. You know why?
You're talking about the night in Rio when you got lost going back to the hotel.
No.
You remember that?
No. Because you didn't sign a contract in time with Ron Dennis. I had Alain Prost next to me, the little Frenchman, which I had to fight to the end for half a point, and then I had to retire. If you would have stayed, I would have still raced.
I would have stayed. I would have stayed. The mistake. The mistake is what that little Frenchman did to get fired by Renault in the first place.
It's true. No, but I have to say, I always had a very good relation with my friend here, and a lot of fun, I have to say.
It was great. I mean, some of the things that happened, I doubt drivers of this generation will ever enjoy because we had more space, more time, more freedom. I mean, the only time you had a debrief is when you wanted to do something off the track that you probably weren't really meant to be doing. And it was just a much more relaxed period. And I mean, I want to tell this little story. It was so funny for me. Niki mightn't find it funny, but in Rio, 78, between the two Grand Prix, on the Saturday night, we all went out to a wonderful club called Hippopotamus. And remember that band called Chic? Nile Rodgers, well, they had a song out, Le Chic. Brilliant night. So got back to the hotel Sunday morning. Ghidini, what was he called? Santi Ghidini was the Parmalat representative, and he also looked after Niki. On the phone, John, where's my car? Where's the car? What are you talking about? It was 8 o'clock in the morning. I only got to bed a couple of hours ago. What had happened was, in the middle of the evening, Niki decided, it's time to go back to the hotel. I've had enough. So he got the keys of the car from Ghidini. You remember this or not?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So he got in the car. Now, this is the man that used to be called the computer. This is before sat-nav, but he knew if he pointed the old Alpha due east, he would come to the beach. And if he turned 90 degrees, he'd get to the hotel. This is the computer. Driving down.
No.
Oh, let me finish this story.
Wait.
Driving down. Gets to the water. Okay, I found the water. Follow the water, I'll get to the hotel. Half an hour later, he realizes he's found the lake in the middle of Rio de Janeiro. He's been driving around it.
Wrong. I left the party because I felt very bad.
That was the whiskey, wasn't it?
Nevertheless, I said, I have to get home. So I got in this stupid Alpha and had a puncture.
Only because he had curbed the Alpha.
On the left rear. And I drove through Rio with a puncture. All the fireworks coming off my rim. And the Brazilian fans stopped me. Said, you have a puncture. I know. Where the bloody hell is my hotel? I left the car in the middle of the road, got in a taxi, will I never forget, these Volkswagens where you have to sit in the back, there was no front seat. And the guy looked at me and said, I want to go to the hotel. And he said, hotel what? And I said, Sheraton. He got me there.
Yeah, I know he did.
And I fall asleep and...
Anyway, Ghidini found the car about 4 hours later on Sunday morning.
Correct.
Well, let's just remind ourselves this is a Lifetime Achievement Award we're trying to give away here.
This was a Lifetime Achievement.
Rather than managing to get home from a night out award. When you look back at the World Championship title, just about with McLaren in company of Alain Prost, those great years with Ferrari, when do you feel that you were at your best as a driver?
Fighting with Prost for half a point through the whole season. I have to say, it was really tough. So there are races which you didn't even win, and you knew that you did a good job. So it all depends how you rate. But I mean, the last year with McLaren was the hardest ever, because with the Ferraris in the beginning, the first championship was easy because the car was the best. Then the second year the car was the best, and I crashed, unfortunately, burned my ear, so it got a little difficult. And the third year was pretty easy, but the McLaren time was really hard.
Yeah. And getting back from a nightclub in Rio, that was the toughest drive of all.
Never did it again. I never did it again.
But, I mean, obviously we've been reintroduced to all the drama and heroics of the mid-70s with the film Rush. Did that characterize you correctly? Did the message and the portrayal, was that accurate?
I have to say yes. And my wife Birgit, who is here, said, have you always been that mad? I said, yes. In the old days, yes. But now I think, what do you think? Handsome? Nice?
It was a great tip. It was the best time, I think, in Formula One, because there was danger, which we don't seem to have today, and lots of drivers were winning races, which we don't seem to have today. So altogether, I think it was a very dangerous period, but it was a very good period to be in Formula One.
Well, I'm glad you approved of the portrayal, because the man who got so sort of eerily close to you in the making of that film, Daniel Brühl, he's a fan of yours, and he said some very nice things which are up on the screen.
Hi, Niki. I wish I could be in London tonight to celebrate your career and the richly deserved award you will receive. It was a huge honor to play you in Rush. I learned a lot from you. I respect you, I admire you, and I like you. I bet most of the people who receive an award like this will take it easy, slow down, look back and retire. That won't happen in your case. So don't party too much, get back to work and kick ass. Bye, Niki.
He got it right, didn't he? And it's prompted everyone's renewed interest in that era. Has it changed things for you? The public perception of your place in motorsport, that film?
I have to say the film was done in a very good way with high professional people of the movie business. Peter Morgan, who wrote the script, exactly what I told him. There's a little bit of Hollywood in there, as has to be. But then when Ron Howard came on board, and they explained to me they have to make a film of today. And I think this is very well achieved. I was impressed myself. When I saw the film the first time, I really looked at it in a funny way, and when I saw Daniel Brühl in the beginning of the movie, I saw that really must have been a real big, you know what I mean? I don't want to say it here in Britain. But when I saw the movie a couple of times, then it got easier because the public liked the movie, so I thought that was not that bad.
Absolutely not. Let's bring things right up to date. You're back at the sharp end of the sport. 2 points. Your first year's experience of Lewis Hamilton, what sort of conclusions have you found about the talent there?
Very good, because I want to say something officially here. Ross Brown, unfortunately, is not here. I really wanted to thank him, what he did in the past for Mercedes and what he especially did this year. He and me were the first who thought of Lewis at the right moment to get him away from McLaren and come to us. This was, I think, one of the magic things to get the team going in a different way with all the technical support we had. So to finish second in the championship behind Red Bull, I have to say it was a big achievement because we had to do 2 steps. But in this case, I want really to congratulate Sebastian, who is sitting over there, which I really admire, for 4 championships in a row. There's Christian there and Adrian there. I really have to say, guys, unbelievable. And I do not know today what I have to do to beat you guys, but I will certainly try.
Well, you've answered my second question as well. It's obviously a regret to lose Ross Brawn, but it's a wonderful privilege to be able to honour you with a Lifetime Achievement Award here tonight. Gregor Grant Award for the great Niki Lauda.
Thank you.
And John Watson, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you, and thanks for joining us here tonight. What's your biggest memory of that World Championship year, 1974?
Well, it was a great year. We had a lot of motivation, the team. Most of the team members was from New Zealand. And the same as when we come from Brazil, you have that type of commitment. You change your country, you change the continent, you change the friends, your food, and you are here to win. And that's what I feel. It was so good energy of the team. But I never met Bruce, because when I start my first Grand Prix, Bruce already had the crash a few months before.
Well, it's great to have you here tonight to make a presentation to acknowledge 50 years of McLaren. It felt like the start of something big, did it?
No, when I saw the film today, so many great champions through McLaren. I mean, James Hunt, Niki Lauda, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, Mika, and then Lewis. And I'm very proud to be a small part of this huge history of McLaren. And by the way, I would like to salute Pat McLaren, that's here with us.
She is indeed.
Please.
We will hear from
God
her
bless.
in a few minutes' time. Great heritage. And to receive the award on behalf of McLaren, can I call on Jonathan Neale, Managing Director of McLaren Racing. Jonathan, congratulations on the award. Congratulations on the anniversary. To enjoy the great years, you have to have the not so great, and this falls into that category. But what's the way forward over the next couple of years for McLaren?
It does. It's very humbling to stand here, as Emerson said, as a small part of that history book. 2013, probably not a vintage year for McLaren, we'll admit that. But after 50 years and 20 world championships, 182 race wins, this is truly a great team. And we're very committed to putting that back. We've got 600 people working incredibly hard to restore the results that the heritage deserves. I'm sorry that Ron can't be here this evening. Ron is traveling as part of a trade delegation to China with the Prime Minister this evening, but he sends his best wishes to everybody here. And it has been a roller coaster, it really has. I think I want to thank a few people, if you'll permit me, just for a second. I want to thank Bruce for everything that he's done, Ron, of course. I want to thank all the drivers who've been a very important part of that history, and the sponsors who stood behind the team for so many years, to Autosport and to all of you. But above that, above everything else, I want to thank the men and women of McLaren who've pushed so hard over the years to drive this company forward. I look forward to the next period of time that I'm there, but it's been a roller coaster. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well done, Jonathan. And that award, the John Bolser Award, is for everyone involved in McLaren in the last 50 years.
Thank you.
And may the team go from strength to strength. Emerson Fittipaldi, great to see Emerson with us here tonight. And congratulations to McLaren. 50 years of McLaren racing honoured tonight. Let's go out to Henry again.
Steve, I'm with a man who was a long-term member of the McLaren family, Joe Ramirez. Joe, sadly, we've only got a minute or so because there's several books in you about your time at McLaren. Just give us a flavour of what it was like to work there, particularly in the great years of Senna and Prost.
I think it was fantastic. I always kick myself in the back by being part of that team, especially 88 and 89. In 88, we won 15 out of 16 Grand Prix, but we never cheat the public. We had Ayrton won 8 and Prost won 7. That's how close. They have 2 drops of water, absolutely exact same cars, and we let them race. So it was fantastic. I think I'm very proud to be part of the team in that age.
And you'll be hoping the team can recapture those glory days?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, not with a Mexican driver now, but can be helped.
Absolutely. Lovely to see you, Joe. Now, Emerson mentioned Pat McLaren, of course, the wife of the team's founder, Bruce McLaren. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to Pat now. Delighted to have you here, Pat. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
Now, Bruce would be very proud, wouldn't he, of how this team has evolved and the amazing success it's enjoyed?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's just tremendous, the achievements they've done over the years, from just a small, humble beginning. And I was going to thank also the wonderful support from all the team who've worked so hard over the last 50 years.
Bruce was a real free thinker and innovator. He would have loved, wouldn't he, how the sports developed from a technology point of view?
Oh, absolutely. And I think particularly the road car, which he first started in the mid-60s. He would be extremely proud of that, of them.
Hear, hear. Pat McLaren, thank you very much indeed.
It's barely a week. I mean, exactly a week ago, you were celebrating the most astonishing season, and it was complete domination. What has this last week held in terms of celebration and preparation for what comes next year?
Well, the last week's been a bit of a blur, really. I mean, obviously we came back after the race in Brazil. It's been quite a year. I mean, to have achieved what we have has been, I think, surpassed anything we could have ever dreamt of. And it's great to have so many of the technical team here this evening that have played such a key role in that, because what often is forgotten is, the quality of opponents that you go up against, and there's some phenomenal, teams and talent within those teams, and to take that on and to beat that is quite remarkable. And I think what Sebastian's achieved this year is mind-boggling, to have won 4 straight victories, to have won 9 in a row, to have become the most successful driver ever in a season, in the most consecutive wins, is absolutely outstanding. And for the first year, he can actually enter the competition to win the car because he's hit 26. So, it's the first year he's been able to fill out the form for the car that you can win this year, which is quite exciting for him.
Yeah. But it's only a year. It's only a year. We've got a green light up there. We've got to keep going. Because I've got to get this finished by 11:30 tonight. That is my challenge, and you've always been the biggest barrier to that down the years. So we're going to go on to International Rally Driver of the Year, and there's every chance that we'll be celebrating with Sebastian a little bit later, and with members of the Red Bull technical team as well. But the International Rally Driver of the Year nominees, we've got Jan Kopecky, dominant performance for Skoda in the European Rally Championship. Robert Kubica had his crashes but went on to lead the way in the WRC2 series. Sebastian Loeb, 2 wins from 4 starts, a stunning sort of cameo of a season from Citroen's part-timer. And Thierry Neuville improved throughout the season. The fastest Ford man eventually took 2nd in the championship behind Sebastien Ogier, who took the World Rally Championship title with a fantastic season of dominance completed by a perfect win on the Rally GB. And we've also got Stefan Pederhansel, this year claimed his 11th win on the Dakar Rally. But the winner, Christian?
Well, it can only be one person, and it's got to be a Sebastian. And it certainly is Sebastien Ogier.
What did he say to you there? Congratulations, Seb, you're a world champion. He's always saying that.
I think he's used to say that, yeah.
Tell us about this, the season. The manner in which you prepared for it was quite detailed and quite thorough and exhaustive, because you saw this as your big opportunity with Sebastian Loeb obviously gone. This was going to be a huge season anyway for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's say I never think about get the opportunity because Loeb was not here. It's just the way it was like that last year. I had to change the team, and by the way, I want to congratulate them because few of them are here tonight. They didn't get the award of the best car, but I'm sure they deserve it as well.
It was a close run thing, I tell you.
So it was just like that. I had to work 1 year and to, let's say, be in the background 1 year to achieve my goal and my dream. And it happened this year. Loeb was just here for 3 races, but still the battle between us was very exciting and very close, like always. So yeah, I'm very proud to be world champion and to join the list. Maybe it's nothing special. My name is Sebastian, so I have to do that. But
one of the surprises of the year was the quality of the car, which was absolutely outstanding, and the team support that you had. I think that took a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, I think it's very impressive to reach this level of competition. Yeah, on the first attempt, the car was performant, but also very reliable, and of course that was amazing. We worked hard last year for that, and yeah, once again, I must congratulate the team for that. Only 1 failure on all the year. I did also 1 mistake in the season, so I couldn't expect. That's good for the first year.
And you won here in this country for the first time, which was important, and you won in emphatic style. Great thing for us was to see those crowds out on the Rally GB once again. Our big home event looks healthy, and it looks to have a great future. What sort of impressions did you form of the GB Rally?
Yeah, it moves more to the north this year, and GB Rally for me never been really good in the past. I had a lot of crash here, so let's say I know quite well the Wales forest because I spend a lot of hours into it. But this year, fortunately, the experience paid, and I was able to stay on the road and be fast like on the other race of the year. And yeah, 9 victory on 13 races. I'm quite happy with that, and especially finish the season with another one. It's just give your mind more free for the holiday, and you know, we don't have a so long break, and in 1 month it will be Monte Carlo already restarting, and in my hometown in Gap.
And I can tell you, I am passenger for him for 8 years now, as named also co-driver. Sometimes for you, sad man, madman, because nobody will come on the right seat. And I can tell you, he's amazing. Thank you.
Perfect, congratulations. Sebastien Ogier, congratulations to you, the International Rally Driver of the Year award.
So, by the way, that was Julian, my co-driver, and he deserves this award, and of course we need to share it together because there is 2 people in the rally car.
They always muscle in, Julian and Gracia, your co-driver. Sebastien Loeb, International Rally Driver of the Year, and our thanks to Christian Horner as well. Challenging time for engineers and designers with the regulation changes next year. Do you miss the sport at this point? Are these the kind of close seasons that you really used to relish?
I certainly miss the engineering. That was always the thing that turned me on more than anything else, really, more than the operational side. But it's a great challenge. I have to say that next year's engines and gearboxes, the whole system is incredibly complex, and I shall be watching closely.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see the solutions that are produced up and down the pit lane. We're going to go on to Racing Car of the Year for this last season. And the nominations here, we've got the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. Audi passed 100 LMP wins with that Le Mans victory and the world title that followed. The Audi RS5 DTM won the DTM crown despite fierce opposition from BMW and Mercedes-Benz. The Dallara GP313 new engine helped establish the junior series between Formula 3 and GP2. The Lotus E21 took the fight to Red Bull on several occasions this past season. The Mercedes W04 wins at Monaco, at Silverstone, and at Hungary as well. Good pace throughout the season. And the Red Bull RB9, a world beater, every bit as good as its predecessors. And the winner, Patrick.
Right. Quick fumble in the envelope. And would you believe it's the Red Bull RB9?
4th straight year, almost inevitably, Adrian. Could this one have been any better? Could this car have been any better? You're the sort of super critic.
Well, I must admit, when it sort of August, it all seemed quite tight. Ferrari had a great start to the year. Mercedes was pushing us middle of the year, and then I don't know what happened after August. It just seemed to happen.
Yeah, in every respect, with a string of wins that took Sebastian to the title. Now, give us your thoughts on how next year might shape up. How are you tackling the challenges of the new rule changes, the engine changes, and what kind of Grand Prix cars are we going to be seeing up and down the pit lane next year, and what kind of racing are we going to be seeing?
Well, I think from our perspective, it's sort of somewhere between mild panic and crisis management.
I can't believe that.
The next year's regulations are a huge change. It's a very complicated powertrain. I think for lots of the teams, including ourselves, and it really is a big challenge. Reliability could be a big issue. It's far from clear how the 3 engine manufacturers perform relative to each other. We've got the aerodynamic changes, so it really is a complete clean start, unfortunately. We'd have been quite happy with stable regulations, as it turned out.
Could this, I mean, does this make you vulnerable, or does this make you potentially even stronger?
Christ, I don't know. I mean, all we can do is do our best and see where we are. That's the only thing we can do.
Mm. How important is it from a design point of view, and it probably doesn't enter the equation from a design point of view, to try to get back, to get Formula One back as a racing formula?
I don't think it has been a racing formula. I think it's been a great few years. I mean, we've had the combination of man and machine as always. We've had, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we made Sebastian, we made the second half of the year slightly boring, but you go back to last year, 6 winners in the first 6 races. I think the variety of the overtaking, it's been a magic time, and all this sort of, well, it was better, so much better in the 60s. It's great at the moment, I think.
You're excited about next year from every point of view, from the racing, from the engineering, from the design, and every point of view.
Yes, I mean, I think some trepidation, as I say. I think the engine regulation changes are a big challenge for everybody. How that will pan out, who knows. you know, at the moment we're all sort of feeling it's going to be remarkably difficult, and kind of we're about 6 months off being prepared for the start of the season, but that's the nature of Formula One. Somehow or other, it always seems to be all right in the night. Hopefully, we'll see.
Certainly for Red Bull it does. It will all be resolved to some extent in March. The big question marks will be resolved, and will it be Red Bull again? Will it be Red Bull up on the stage here for a 5th consecutive year? Congratulations on this past season. It's been epic and a wonderful racing car, and your team is quite fantastic. Adrian Newey and Peter Prodromou, who we know is moving on, but Rob Marshall, Mark Ellis, Paul Monaghan, Pierre Vache, and Adrian Newey as well, and our thanks to Patrick Head. Racing Car of the Year, the Red Bull RB9. Adrian, thank you very much. Hey, great to see you, Alan. And I mean, it's been a long time coming, but then again, you haven't had too many shots at a world title, I suppose.
No, this is the 4th time in karting. Back in 1985, I finished 3rd, and that was one of the biggest disappointments, because an Italian called Andrea Gilardi won it, and there was a German guy called Schumacher finished 2nd, but I don't know what he did afterwards. But it's been a wee while coming, but it's been pretty sweet when it arrived.
Yeah, and the foundation to it all for you was the Le Mans win, and then the emotion that you clearly felt when you clinched the title in Shanghai. That said a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, the slowing down lap was pretty emotional, there's no question about it. There's 4 minutes roughly to get back to the pits, and it's just you in the car and you're in the cockpit, and there's a lot of things going through your mind about the time, the period, the efforts you've put in. And also personally, from my point of view, it would have been the 60th birthday of David Leslie, who is also from Dumfries, and he was the guy that started me in karting and also in car racing, as he did with Dario Franchitti and David Coulthard as well. Yeah. And so therefore there's a sort of poignant aspect to it. But really, when we did cross the line and we knew we'd done it, Tom, Loic and I stood on top of the car and we felt $1 million.
Yeah, wonderful moment, and you deserved every moment of that emotion and that success, and you will understand the commitment and the emotions that our rookies of the year are going through right now and have been going through right through the season. It's an award that's open to professional drivers in their first season in their respective categories. And our nominations here: Jules Bianchi, great start to his Formula One career with Marussia. Valtteri Bottas, stunning 3rd place on the grid at Montreal, one of the few highlights for Williams. Max Chilton, improving all the season, and to finish every race was an outstanding achievement in his first year. Esteban Gutierrez, always a tough comparison with teammate Nico Hülkenberg, but had his first points finish in the Japanese Grand Prix. Sam Tordoff, who was the perfect support for MG teammate Jason Plato, scored his first touring car win at Snetterton. And Stoffel van Dorn, the McLaren Junior, had 4 wins in his first season in Renault 3.5. And the winner?
And the winner of Rookie of the Year is Jules Bianchi.
Jules, congratulations. And a splendid first season with Marussia. And that 10th place in the Constructors' Championship must have felt like a victory. That was a big moment for the team, wasn't it?
Yes, obviously it's been a great season for me. I didn't expect to be on the grid after February. I had pretty bad news, but then we have this contract with Marussia, which was great. Obviously, it was a really nice season. I have been really feeling confident with the team all the year, and we finished in front of Caterham, which was our target, so we're really proud of that, and now we will looking forward next year.
And there's some consistency about the team, as we've seen from Max Chilton this season as well. Good solid finishes, good reliability. There's something to build on for next year, isn't it?
Yes, of course the team did a great job. You know, I didn't have any big issue on the car for all the season. I have just 2, and then everything was perfect. I felt like at home. You know, straight away I had only 1.5 day testing before the season, but when I came to Australia, I was just feeling great with the team. And now we are really looking for next year, because I think it will be a big challenge, and I think we can do a good thing.
And you end the season with a trophy, and it's a deserved one. Rookie of the Year,
thank you.
Jules Bianchi. And Alan McLeish, thank you to you as well. Battle scarred from that horrendous crash in Houston. Just tell us about the medical advice that you received and how tough it was to absorb and reach the decision that you have made.
Well, thank you everybody for the warm welcome, and also thank you to everybody. A lot of people in the room reached out after the accident and also after the retirement announcement, so thank you. Luckily it was two doctors that I really trusted, Dr. Trammell, Dr. Ogier, Ogier on the head, Trammell on the back, and just the concussion from the accident it was just too big to be able to continue. Another hit could be really a big problem. Same thing with the spine. It wasn't an easy thing to do. I spent a couple of days trying to figure out ways to kind of get around it. I thought, oh, let's see, there's got to be a way here, and it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that there wasn't. So, you know, it's in some ways a tough decision. In a lot of ways, I'm lucky to be here to make that decision. And if, as they say in Scotland, I've had a pretty good kick at the ball, so you know, I'll move on to the next stage.
Yeah, it's a right decision, and you've come to terms with that decision. It was tough for a few days, I'm sure.
Well, it's still tough in some ways. I still, unfortunately, think a lot about driving the car. The team are testing in 3 days at Sebring, and I found myself the other night thinking about, okay, the last time we tested there, these were the problems, and you know, oh, I need to fix this and this and this. So I found myself calling my engineer and saying, okay, whoever you end up putting in the car, you know, think about this, and this. So the passion's still there to do something. Hopefully, you know, Chip and I have talked about doing something about next year and going forward. I'd love to continue working with the team and in IndyCar, but just won't be behind the wheel anymore.
Yeah. But you can look back on an absolutely fantastic career. And it was 21 years ago that you were up here on this stage receiving the award as McLaren Autosport Young Driver of the Year. There you are up on the screen.
Yeah.
If you told that fresh-faced youngster that you'd go on to win 3 Indy 500s and 4 IndyCar titles, you'd say, right, you know, I'll settle for that.
One of which with that man as my boss. Yeah, I remember Michael Andretti. Senna was supposed to present the award that night, but got fogged in, I think, somewhere. So Mike and I ended up doing that, and no, I've had a wonderful time, a great career. I don't even want to call it a career. It's been what I love to do. It was never felt like a job. So no, it's been an absolute privilege to do it, and you know, to me, Indianapolis is just a very, very special place.
Yeah. Okay, Dario, thanks very much for joining us here tonight. You're a great friend of this event. We hope to see a lot more of you in years to come. But you're here to present a Gregor Grant Lifetime Achievement Award to another great British motorsport legend. Next year will be something of a celebration for a man, because it will be 50 years since he became the first and probably the only man to win the World Championship on 2 and 4 wheels. Another stupendous ovation for a legend of motorsport, John Surtees, welcome. This is your moment, but it is appropriate as well to get from you just a brief reflection on the decision that Dario has taken and the manner in which he's taken it.
I think it shows how he's approached his career as a whole. Dario, I know very well that I lay in a hospital in Canada, happened to think exactly the same thing. And waiting on doctors' reports and having to think, perhaps this is the end, and a new life will have to beckon. But the fact is, if you've gone along and you've achieved things as Dario has, and everything else, as one sort of chapter closes, another will open. It won't be he will be lost to motorsport. He will just go along and use all that energy and drive and that character which he's developed in his career, just to develop another way of life.
Which is exactly what you've done in so many different forms in motorsport. When you look back on your career, what gives you the greatest pleasure, satisfaction in terms of an achievement? What you've done on 2 wheels, what you've done on 4, or what element of your varied motorsport life?
I suppose coming back from my accident was a major factor. Because there's a question of when I had to learn to walk again and things like this. That was a thing. But if I look back, the most important race of my life was that race which I won down there in Aberdeen in Wales. I had built this bike up in the back shed, working at Vincent's, and I'd gone to Aberdeen, and I sat on that bike, And on that day, I was no longer a mechanic testing a bike. I came together with it. It talked to me, and I was understanding it, and I created that relationship with that machinery, which went on to set the whole scene for the rest of my life in relating to machinery. And I think that we have a world champion over there who this year has demonstrated this question of coming together with a machine and understanding it completely,
sort of as
and
one.
having that feel, you know, through the seat of the pants and the tip of the fingers, which is very, very special.
Yeah. No one's going to do it again, are they? It's physically impossible, 2 wheels and 4 world titles on both. But the manner in which you made the transition, I mean, for example, the first time you sat in a racing car, you were racing.
Well, it was all set by Sportsman of the Year contest. Sportsman of the Year contest, and I was taken to a luncheon just down the road here at the Dorchester, actually. And on that table was Rich Parnell, Tony Vandervelde, and Mike Hawthorne. And I'd never met any of them before. I was just a motorcyclist. And first thing is, Mike was very enthusiastic. Oh, bikes. We're going to ride in a press trial the coming weekend at Brands Hatch. He had a trials bike, and I had one. As it happened, it didn't happen because on the way up, he was killed. But at that meeting, he said, try a car, John. So I said, well, no, I'm a motorcyclist. He said, no, try a car. They stand up easier.
That's good advice.
It set me thinking a bit, but then Reg Parnell turned round and said, oh, driving Aston Martin. I'm team manager of Aston Martin, driving Aston Martin. So I said, no, no. And Tony Vandervelde said, who just retired from racing, said, you are a motorcyclist, I'm a motorcyclist. If you drive anything at all, you drive a Vanwell. Well, a few weeks later, it ended up that Reg Parnell was on the phone, come to Goodwood, drive a DBR1 Aston Martin. Sterling Moss had won at the Nürburgring with it. It's a bit of a secret test because it didn't have a David Brown gearbox in it. It had a Maserati gearbox. We didn't want the general racing world to know. So I went down there, tried it, and stopped the first time, and Reg said, sign this, please. What's that? Contract. I said, no, 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 no. I'm a motorcyclist. Again, I'm getting a bit tired of saying this. So I know what happened. That night, I had I think he must have had the odd drink. I had Tony Vandervelde on the phone. What the hell are you doing, XYZ, driving that so-and-so's cars? David York and the Vanwells will be taken out on mothballs and will be at Goodwood tomorrow. Be there. So I had a pair of Vanwells to go round and round Goodwood with. Sterling may not remember, but that night he rang me up. He said, been driving my car. So I said, yes. So I said, yeah, I've been driving your car. He said, how'd you get on? I said, well, Ford Water. I'm not so sure about Ford Water. Each time I come up to Ford Water, I think, well, I can get this pretty well, flat. But then the right foot tends to ease off, and I go through it. It drops into that little dip. The car sits down, and I think, well, perhaps not. He said, no, 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 no. Harry flatters. Harry flatters. So, oh, well. Next day I go down there and I build up and build up. And I think, yes, I can do this. And I kept my foot in it. And the car went over the rise, dropped in. They all know this sort of reaction. It sat down on the suspension. And then it started going round. And I did some of the harvesting for Lord March. I went off into the winter barley and stuffed it full of it. David York came round, he said, you no need to worry, he you know, you did the time of that before. So, no worry. Of course, Sterling, I think, rang up again and said, you didn't try, did you? But this is the thing I had to start learning about drivers, because the next thing, of course, as you know, a year later, 9 months later, MV Agusta said, you mustn't ride any bikes other than an MV, because the Italian press had said that I could win on anything. And so I decided to try a car and buy one. But I went to John Cooper, Tony Kentill, had been arranged by John to be there, and Ken came along and said, I've entered you for Goodwood. You will be there in a Formula Junior Cooper Austin. I formed a new team, and I've spoken to the RAC. They will view you to see if you're safe, and if you are, they give you a license.
Wonderful.
So that was the first race I ever saw.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you've seen a few since then, and you've led a few since then. 1964, with Ferrari, you were a Formula One world champion, and that record was set in stone, the only man to win the world title on 2 wheels and 4. John Surtees, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And congratulations, John. Now, thanks to Dario Franchitti as well. And that's why, with the World Championship landed in 1964, that's why next year will be a year of celebration for John, 50 years on from completing the double. John Surtees, our Gregor Grant Award winner.
Incidentally, George Barber of Alabama, who has the Barber Raceway, is sending over the original Formula One car for me to have here for next year, so we can use it for demonstrations.
That'd be wonderful.
For the foundation. So that's rather a nice twist.
Excellent. That's all part of the celebrations of next
Thank
year.
you.
John, thank you very much. And there'll be a whole collection of John Surtees cars at Autosport International at Birmingham in January. That kicks off the kind of year's celebration. And hopefully, as part of that year's celebration, someone, somewhere, will at long last give John Surtees the knighthood that he deserves. And if anyone in this room has got any kind of influence, let's get the job done. International Racing Driver of the Year. The nominations. We've got Fernando Alonso, second in the championship, but not, as he pointed out, in the second fastest car. Another fine season for Alonso. Scott Dixon took his 3rd IndyCar title with a great fight back in the second half of the season. Lewis Hamilton, a season that had its frustrations, but his reputation is as strong as ever. Jimmy Johnson getting close to legendary status now as he takes NASCAR title number 6. Kimi Räikkönen started the year with victory in Australia and scored and performed consistently after that. And Sebastien Vettel, records tumbling as he makes it world title number 4. Sir Sterling, can you manage the envelope? I'm not sure you need to open it, actually.
No money in it. The International Racing Driver of the Year is, as you probably all guessed, Sebastien Vettel.
Sebastien Vettel. Wow, here we are again, at the end of another astonishing season. And when you come down those stairs, each year you come down the stairs and you do us the honor of arriving here as world champion, your reputation is that little bit more enhanced, your status in the sport is that bit more enhanced. You see great champions like Sterling, Jackie Stewart, Emerson Fittipaldi, Niki Lauda and so on. Is it a humbling experience still for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think tonight I was second walking down the stairs behind another Sebastian. But yeah, still very special for me, definitely. Especially because yeah, the room is full of people knowing motorsport very well, and to get the respect from all of you is fantastic. And it's been 4 years now I've been walking down those stairs. I wouldn't mind another couple of years.
Well, we wouldn't mind either in some ways.
I know how much how much work there is to achieve that, and a big team behind. A lot of the people are here as well tonight, so yeah, I get to pick this nice trophy up every year, but yeah, it's a lot of work, as I said.
Just take a moment. Sterling, give us your verdict. How great a champion has this man become?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I spent 15 years trying, and I got nowhere near him. He's already got 4. It's not very fair. And I think it's absolutely staggering. I mean, what really amazes me, as much as anything really, is that if suddenly there's a car brought out to slow them down, when the car pulls in, who's first away? He's straight there. Yeah. Every time he seems to, right on the ball, bang. And I really respect you. I think it's incredible. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
On that slowing down lap, we listen to the radio again, and that's always revealing the emotions that you show.
I think just to get one thing straight, I think Sterling, to speak in a German language, maybe I have conquered more championships, but I think he definitely conquered and broke more women's hearts. So.
Yeah, he's had about 4 Lifetime Achievement Awards as a result of that as well.
For the women, yeah.
But that is important. I mean, it's important to you to still have fun in the sport. It's difficult to have fun in Formula One these days.
Yeah, I think the difference, obviously, is that it's much easier these days to get caught. So I'm saying that with confidence because my girlfriend is not here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was told that all the bad things get cut out, so.
Yeah.
It's very private, it's between us.
It has been in the past, but we have different kind of communications out there tonight. But anyway, the slowing down lap and the emotions that you showed, you said to your team, mate, enjoy this because it's not going to last forever. I mean, are you in dread of what's to come at the moment when the sort of bubble bursts? It seems a long way off.
No, I think it's more I think that there's always the threat that if you have such a run that we had, you get used to it, and you get the kind of the expectation yourself as well, where you're 2nd, 3rd, or 4th on the grid, or you finish the race not first, and it's a disappointment, but it shouldn't be. I think it depends every time. It depends on the race, and I think Niki was on the stage earlier. Obviously, you got a great example with Sterling up here. Finishing 2nd doesn't mean that you had a bad race. It depends how the race unfolded, etc. And you can still be very proud with the 2nd, with the 3rd. It's still a podium finish, or with the 5th. Given what you get out on the day. So that's why I think it's even more special to appreciate the run that we had, and I think everybody in the team did. But you never. That's what I try to express. You never know how long it lasts.
What exactly? What exactly is the donut bill at the moment, and what's it likely to rise to over the next 5 or 6 years?
The breach was not to do the donuts, it was not to bring the car back to Parc Fermé. So it's a stupid rule, but expensive donuts, but the races after, obviously, we had reason to do more donuts, and every time we brought the car back, so no fine.
What exactly happened mid-season? We got to Hungary, and Lewis had that great win in Hungary, and everyone said, right, the battle is on for the rest of the World Championship season. There was a bit of a break. Back you came with a different mindset, or what had changed?
I don't know. I got a big wake-up call in Hungary. I thought I did, a decent job on the Saturday. Pole was very, very close fight. For pole position, it was a close fight with Lewis. It was, I think, 500 or 600s, and I was happy with my lap in the final attempt in Q3, but I knew that pole was obviously for grasp, so I was not entirely happy. I got back to my room, got changed, and when I was in my underpants, Helmut Marko opened the door. And I thought the same. And he said, you f***ed that one right up. I said, what exactly do you mean? And he said, turn 5, I've seen it. You lost more than 500s. If you only copy the lap from Q2 in turn 5, you will have pole. Because the thing is, what most people don't see, obviously this year has been a tricky year in some, and people always think that, Helmut and me, we're like, best mates, and actually, the example that I'm just giving you proves pretty much the opposite. I think he was never shy of giving me shit and probably never will be. So he came to my room, gave me a massive, bollocking for f***ing it up and not getting pole position. And I said to him, Helmut, yeah, turn 5, you got a point. Obviously, he spoke to the engineers, and he was well informed. But it wasn't, it wasn't an overlap. And still, you should have got pole. Next day, we finished 3rd, which I think was a good recovery for the race we had, getting stuck in traffic and so on. Anyways, so you see, yesterday you get pole, you win the race. You didn't get pole, you f***ed it up, and today you saw you had a race. Thanks for the summary. Yes. So maybe that got me thinking a little bit, and I tried to make it a little bit better after the summer break.
From that point on, you said, "I'll show you." And what a demonstration through the rest of the season. How is that going to now carry on into 2014? What are your thoughts on 2014 and what lies in store? Do you know?
It's like Adrian summed it up. I think it's very difficult to know. I think every team and every engine manufacturer probably has an idea how it should turn out, but it's a surprise at this stage. So we wait obviously until next year. I think getting the cars on the track for the first time will be very interesting, and then we'll see how many engines blow up or not. Personally, I'm a bit sad because first test I did in Formula 1 was in a V10. I was very close to wet my seat. Not because my enormous testicles, that's for guys on 2 wheels. But I remember that test, and then obviously we went to V8 the year after, and when I had the second go in a Formula 1 car, I could tell the difference. And I just hope that we are not going down from a power point of view. The refs, we'll lose the refs, which I think is a shame because, obviously it's a new direction to go into and new technology. But I still remember the first time I went watching. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, go on.
You're on a tight schedule.
So. No, the light's gone green again. We're fine.
Is that how it works? Now it's red.
Yeah. Oh, and it's gone red again.
You're talking. It's nice green.
You carry
Anyways. First time I went to see Formula 1 was in 1992. It was raining. It was only a free practice in Hockenheim. And cars were only coming out for installation laps. I didn't know that. My father didn't know. But just to hear the sound, and to feel it in the ground, the car coming, that's, the first memories I have, and I just hope in the future we'll not lose this excitement. I think the cars need to smell, the cars need to be loud, and it needs to give you something that you don't forget. Maybe I'm not very economic right now, but
Deep down, you're as old-fashioned as the rest of us. It's all sound and fury. But the fact that there is uncertainty about next year, does that excite you, the thought that the challenge is going to be slightly different?
It is. It's a new challenge, but then again, it is every year. I think if you look at the last couple of years, yes, you can say that the regulation's been fairly consistent, but there have been new challenges for the whole team, for the drivers to adapt to the cars, to learn and understand them. So I think in that regard, every car is a new car. For sure, next year with a new engine, etc., coming in, will be a bigger step. A lot of new things to understand. So it's difficult to know what's coming, but I think everyone is also looking forward to it, and I think that's the same approach for us. Yes, we had a very, very strong base the last couple of years, but I remember Adrian saying in India that 2009 wasn't a bad start, and it was starting off in a good direction with the generation of cars we had, but I'm sure that we've got lots of clever people on board. I will certainly try my best on track to
I'm sure you will. Despite the uncertainty of next year, it will surprise no one in this room if you're heading down that staircase once again come the first Sunday in December next year. Fantastic champion, 4 times world champion now, 4 times Formula 1 world champion, Sebastien Vettel, and Sir Sterling Moss. As head of the judges, I'm sure this was another very difficult task that faced you at Silverstone?
You know, every year, Steve, it gets harder and harder, and these guys come better prepared, more professional, and this year was really, really difficult. There was all 6 drivers were within a gnats of one another, and it was really difficult to pick the winner. But in the end, it was unanimous, and we obviously picked him. But you get these young drivers now, you know, one of the drivers was just 16, 2 of the drivers never even had a driving license. And we put them in these 600 horsepower McLarens, and we sit them in and we say to them, okay, sit in, get comfortable, and adjust the mirrors. This was just for the reconnaissance lap. And he looked at me and he said, I've never driven a road car. So he could drive a car with 500 horsepower, but he didn't know how to adjust the mirrors.
How old did you feel at that point?
Very old. Very old.
The prize for one of them, the Chris Bristow Trophy, the James Hunt Trophy, an RI GP6RC carbon helmet, membership of the BRDC, a test in a Formula One McLaren Mercedes, and £100,000 in prize money. The winner of the 2013 McLaren Autosport BRDC Young Driver Award is Matt Parry. 19 years old, Formula Renault NEC champion. Gave 100% throughout the season, gave 100% throughout the test, and here you are. Congratulations, McLaren Autosport BRDC Young Driver of the Year, Matt Parry. I won't ask you anything complicated, just give us your reaction to the last minute of your life.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, the hardest thing was getting to the stage, going through all the people, but no, obviously it's fantastic, and well, I can't even, you know, it's just absolutely amazing. I don't know what to say.
Have you any idea, we said that all the judges said you gave absolutely 100% in the test. Any idea the qualities that you have that really might have impressed these judges?
Well, I think the best question for that is for them, but you know, I feel like, you know, I did the best I could, and you know, obviously the last couple of months we've really been thinking about what I could do better, and obviously just thought, you know, I didn't think I could do much better, and that I gave 100%, and you know, that's all I could do. So you know, obviously thank you for everyone for their support throughout this year, and you know, without them I wouldn't be here today.
And a great season in Formula Renault. Where are you going next, especially with the help of what you've got here? £100,000, BRDC membership, and the McLaren test as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's massive, and you know, I think from here we're hoping to do Formula Renault Euro Cup with Fortec Motorsport again. You know, with all their support, they've been fantastic for me, and we're obviously able to clinch the Northern European Cup Championship in Formula Renault. So, you know, from there, yeah, like I say, hopefully do Euro Cup and obviously, you know, do my career all the way up to Formula One.
We will watch your progress with interest, make full use of the opportunity that's been given you. Our McLaren Autosport BRDC Young Driver of the Year is Matt Parry.
Thanks.
Leaves with £100,000. A McLaren Mercedes Formula One Test BRDC membership. The helmet will be given to you as well, the RI GP6RC carbon helmet. And membership of the BRDC as well goes with it. Matt Parry, our last winner of the evening. Let's take a last couple of shots, and off you go. Back to your family, and another round of applause for our last winner, and maybe our biggest winner in some ways of the night, Matt Parry, Young Driver of the Year.
Mick Doohan or Casey Stoner?
Mick Doohan.
Boobs or bums? And he just sits straight in here. There is no... What else is going to be heading in there?